Hi Vans family, my name is Gabrielle Brooks. You guys can call me Gabby for short. I am the owner and sole proprietor of Gifted Gab Photography, which is a photography business located locally in the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. We're also hoping to expand and move into Dallas, Texas with the help of you guys. First and foremost, I wanted to thank you guys for giving Gifted Gab Photography the opportunity to even partner with an amazing company such as Vans. As you guys can see from behind me, I have been a collector and supporter of the company for just about as long as I can remember, and I've honestly never been so excited or happy to be a supporter of another company. To me, Vans isn't just a shoe company. I joked with my colleagues for a while about this video and how I wanted to make sure I included that I just wish a Vans representative can come and sit on my shoulder for a day, just so you guys could hear how much support and love you guys have from your clients and customers, specifically myself. You guys are truly the only company that I rant and rave about as much as I do, solely because of everything that you guys do to support the communities that need it most, and in more ways than simply raising awareness. All of the humans on this planet have a place in your company, from people with mental disabilities such as autism and the autism line that you guys put out, all the way to breast cancer, as well as the breast cancer line you guys put out. I've never been so passionate about another company before. And I genuinely believe that it's because I believe how passionately Vans is to helping those who need it. Which brings me seamlessly into the purpose of Gifted Gab Photography, which is helping people feel most comfortable in their own skin. Gifted Gab Photography is a new business, just officially earning our business license back in February. In the past, I was really only tinkering around with my own personal creativity to try and find my niche style that I could bring to photography, only really doing a lot of portrait work. I found my passion playing around with my little camera, and a lot of my early work was just me toying around with some of my friends who were always nervous to step in front of my lens. Soon I realized just how comfortable and myself I am in photography mode, as I like to call it. And I was able to realize that just by being my positive, goofy, happy self, I was able to rid people of whatever self-consciousness they might have by stepping in front of that camera. So I decided to take it one step further. I got the opportunity to photograph a client in a particular style of photography called boudoir, which is more of a risque or sexier style of photography that sometimes might include lingerie, or it might be taken in the bedroom. Now, this style of photography is not to be confused with pornography. It's more so to bring to light the beauty of the female body. But anyways, the client that I was shooting for wasn't somebody who was necessarily used to taking their clothes off in front of anybody else but their husband, who the shoot was for, by the way, Valentine's Day present. But she was extremely nervous to pose almost nude, never having any type of experience in front of a camera before. She was really shy. But by the end of the shoot, she was posing so confidently and was genuinely so excited about the shoot that I couldn't even believe it. And that's where I birthed the idea for Gifted Gab Photography. I couldn't believe the amount of confidence I was able to instill into this shy human being just by being able to portray what I saw through my lens to her. I produced beautiful work that she was so proud of, and I loved watching her confidence flourish and grow literally right in front of me, almost like a little caterpillar turning into a butterfly. In that moment, I found my niche. I knew that I wanted to instill as much confidence as I could in as many women as possible, and now I'm hoping that you guys are able to help me with that. Women are beautiful, powerful works of art that deserve nothing more in life than to be comfortable in their own skin. There are so many outside elements that a woman has to deal with in life that add to her distress, and being concerned with what others think, I don't believe should be one of them. If I'm able to convince a woman that her stretch marks from birthing a child into this world are beautiful, and just as amazing as anything that you can see in a magazine, then I honestly feel like I've empowered that woman to feel beautiful enough to conquer anything. Think of how many things each one of us has given up on or held ourselves back from just because we're scared of what somebody else is going to think of us or how somebody else is going to perceive us. I want to change that. I don't want women to be concerned about what the next person is perceiving them as. That's quite frankly lame as hell. Instead, I want to show these women that there's nothing to be afraid of because they're just as beautiful as the last client that sat in front of my lens. And honestly, they have just as much potential as the next, as long as they're able to get past their insecurities. Women empowerment is the mission behind Gifted Gab Photography in the most creative of ways. If I had the opportunity to partner with bands, that would be what my shoe design would be around. If I were given the opportunity to partner with bands, we would be able to move the business part-time out to Dallas, only furthering our mission and our voice as well. Before all of this COVID stuff started happening, photography was my only source of income. Last year, I quit my full-time job in sales to pursue my career in photography. I knew it was my passion, so I decided to take a leap. I started marketing my hobby and earning more gigs and loving it. Things were going decent enough to keep food in my mouth and also keep my bills paid. I honestly wasn't living lavishly by any means. I didn't have enough money to do the fun things, if you will, but I honestly didn't really care. It honestly wasn't about that for me. I was having fun, I was passionate about what I was doing, and also not to mention, I was my own boss. Now, fast forward a few months, I decided to go back home to Dallas and visit some of my family. And as always, while I was there, they tried to beg, plead, and just shy of force me into moving back home with them. While I was there, I realized I really do want to be closer to them. However, I'm fully established out here in Phoenix, as well as my mom and her whole side of the family lives here as well. Around that time, my mind started to wander and race and start to wonder if having an establishment in both locations was even possible. The more I started speaking and brainstorming with my family, the more that we started to realize that this truly is a possibility. I have a place to live out there with my dad. I have a car to drive. I have pretty much everything out there except a place to conduct business, or my photography studio. I could make everything work. I just needed a studio. All I could think about was next step, find a studio. Next step, find a studio. Lo and behold, I found a studio. And all it really needed is a few minor renovations or a facelift, if you will. All I need to do at this point to have my business running out of both locations is a small renovation of the space. I, of course, want my customers and clients to be as comfortable as possible in my studio, given the context of my photography. Right now, the studio space that I have available to me is kind of in an older building and is in need of necessary repairs such as lighting for the studio, laminate floors, baseboards, as well as not to mention the removal of the god-awful popcorn ceilings. As soon as I realized the scope of things and just how possible all of this is, I set a goal for myself. Just to give you guys like a time context, all of this happened back in February when I was visiting Dallas. So as soon as I made it back to Phoenix, I took the steps to legitimize my business. I started to realize that living paycheck to paycheck wasn't necessarily going to make my goal of 6 to 8 months exactly feasible. So I realized I needed to get my full-time job back so that I could save to make this goal possible for myself. I started to search around for a job and ended up getting hired doing sales for a tech company here locally. And my hire date was March 2nd. Obviously, March 2nd, this is all pre-COVID craziness, and I was well on my way to making that 6 to 8 month goal happen for myself and my business. Not even 2 weeks later, after getting hired, the company that I was working for declared that all of its employees were to take home all of their work equipment and we were work from home basis only. However, no employees at that time were to be laid off. At that point, everything was going okay. I was excruciatingly bored from sitting at home all the time, but nonetheless, I was alive, right? Fast forward to April 2nd. 30 days into my employment with this company, a really great company at that, but I was a fresh meat. So I woke up to an email with a video message from my CEO stating that I was no longer essential and that I was being laid off. Honestly, I was devastated. I had put all of my eggs in the basket of trying to save as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, so that I could advance my business into the next stages. I still don't really know how I'm gonna make the goal of 6 to 8 months happen, but something I've learned about myself is that when I set goals, they work, they happen. I don't know how, but as long as I set a goal, I make them happen. That's kind of why I decided to take a small step outside of my comfort zone to the other side of my lens to make this video entry for you guys. I hope that Vans is able to support my mission to make any and all women that I come across feel as empowered and as beautiful as they can. And I hope that you guys are able to help me spread that mission into a new audience there in my hometown, closer to my family. Again, guys, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to explain my passion and my purpose behind my entry. And from me as Gifted Gab Photography, I hope all of you guys over there in my Vans family, as well as your families, stay as happy, healthy, and as safe as possible during these crazy times. Again, thank you guys.